Hello friends and antagonists, both minor and major MSL, and this is a quick theory on Monster Hunter World's DLC. Like most of you, I'm sure I've been playing this game non-stop since release, and I have come across some stuff that I think I haven't seen talked about too much in online posts on Reddit and other places where there's been a lot of good discussion and critique about the game's visual design when it comes to the weapons. Most previous entries in the series have had this really bombastic, really exciting weapon design that we see sometimes here, but not all the time. So let me show you a couple things that I'm thinking about and why I think in future content we're going to be seeing a huge expansion to the roster. First thing, and this has kind of been bugging me because it seems so clear now, this entire weapon chart here, the tree, right? This whole menu here, like most of the menus, is a little bit dense with information, but is very clean and very well presented. These are floating menus though, which means they should, in theory, adjust to the size that they're supposed to be putting information inside, right? So here we have it just as wide as the weapon upgrades. In the zoom tree, it fits exactly from tier 1 to rarity 8, the current cap, with no extra space aside from the normal padding. On the tree though, there's this gigantic amount of space to the far right of the screen, past rarity 8, with stuff like Purgation's Atrocity, Rathel's Glintsword, the Daura stuff, that kind of thing. Enough space to fit easily rarity 9 and 10 as is customary in games that have G rank or further beyond. And I think so far that's a very clear indicator that there's at least the potential for higher rarity gear to be introduced through DLC, whether that's from stuff like the upcoming Deviljho or stuff that hasn't been announced yet. Beyond that, I think the biggest critique of the game so far is that a lot of the weapons are just kind of lame. Find a better example here. So the Switch Axe, especially for me, has been like kind of a disappointment. Sorry, Switch Axe. The Valhazak tree. We have this sort of halfway between Bone and Valhazak. With Rathalos, and weirdly enough, Rathalos, which has, in previous entries, had a full unique model for the Rathalos Switch Axe, goes from the base Ore Axe plus Rathalos material to a slightly different model that is shared with the Bagel Goose, with Jagras, with Uragon, with Thunder Element. And so here's where I think the distinction is, and people are saying that, sort of this is a direction that's supposed to be more realistic. I think it's a little different. I think some of these will probably remain kind of lame like this, but I think we're going to be seeing an expansion here as well. Because so far what we're seeing is a distinct pattern for everything, which is you have the base design for Ore and Bone, right, here and here. And then you have a halfway point. So and when you add a monster's material to it, it gets wrapped around the hilt, it gets wrapped around the blade, like this. And then that develops into, usually, a different model for the weapon itself. And then occasionally it goes further beyond that. But what we're seeing here, though, is, say, with the Nergigante stuff, all 14 weapons have Nergigante stuff in full unique models. So here we have Nergalgash, right? Same thing, the Ore weapon plus materials from the Nergigante. But then it evolves to its completed final form, Dying Light, which is a totally unique model that is a clear evolution of the previous one. Same with here, Legiana. We have Ore, we have Glacial Axe, which is basically, Uragon and Jagras and Bagel Goose and Rathalos, right? And Valhazak, for that matter. Same exact issue. It's the Ore Axe with materials. But then it becomes Frostweaver. And we get the full new model. So right now, I'm just going to throw out my take currently is we're going to be seeing this developed for a lot of weapons. I would suggest stuff like Valhazak, a unique Elder Dragon to this game, is going to be getting full models for everything. And I don't know if this is due to development time, due to just wanting to release hype content later down the road, or whatever else. But because of the way this works, I'm going to expect we see this sort of Nergalgash to Dying Light process happen more often. Because it's such a clear way to develop the weapon design. The design is so on point for most of the weapons, but then it just sort of trails off sometimes. Even Madness the Juria Drought, there's not much going on there. Diablos is a full model, right? And I think the biggest indication of this so far is that even Xeno'jiiva, the final boss monster of the game, the last monster you unlock, the marquee big boy, has this sort of hybrid look. And if there's any weapon that deserves like a full unique model and has historically gotten some of the flashiest, most exciting models in the series, it's your final boss monster. So I'm going to expect that the Rarity 9 or 10 Xeno'jiiva gear, much like the Nergigante stuff, is going to show the exciting transformation into from this hybrid point, which does, to people's credit, illustrate the sort of realistic, grounded feel that Capcom is going for here in terms of developing, instead of like base to directly to Teostra, like just like immediately going from here to here, doing a slow evolution, which is a lot more interesting visually and gives a great feeling of progression. So my guess is if we get G rank, or if we get something similar to that, or we just get more content, a new area with that huge hint dropped about Zora Magdaros creating a new ecosystem, right? We're gonna get 9 or 10 or above rarity gear that will show the evolution of visual design. So yeah, that's my theory. I think this applies to almost every weapon I've seen so far. I mean, same thing here, right? We have the halfway point. We have the midpoint here into the full final form. We have Valhazak going from halfway to the full form, which mirrors the Nergigante one, right? You have the hybrid, and then you have the final form, and as like a brand new unique model. Zora Magdaros here is still in its halfway form of Greatsword, right? I would love to see this be finished as well. So hopefully we see this happen, and hopefully we get some. I'm excited for new content, so I'm just waiting for Capcom to drop it at this point. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know it's like a little bit of a weird side thing for me, but if you enjoyed this, I'm brewing up some other Monster Hunter content coming soon. So if you like this, consider subscribing to find out when I'm up to that, or come check out my Twitch stream, which is every day, 8 p.m. Eastern, at twitch.tv/echelon_TV. But until next time, folks, enjoy yourselves, get some rest, and peace out.